Hello everybody, I'm back here in the classroom, and today I'm going to talk about activating the elements in the physical body. I talked in previous videos about how the four elements could affect our behavior or mood and how they interact with the elements of the soul. How anything that we interact with, anything, even if it's an external influence or something that we create ourselves like an emotion or a thought, has its own composition of the four elements: fire, water, air, and earth, and how that composition interacts with our own existing composition. So anything that we come in contact with has its own existence, and that particularity is a combination of these four elements. The moment that we interact or this comes into our space, then we absorb it. It comes into our sphere, we connect energy fields, we become one with that interaction. It could be the emotion, it could be a thought, it could be a memory, or it could be something that we eat, it could be something that we see on the street and then we accumulate as a personal memory, something that we hear, music, anything. It could be anything that we absorb and comes in contact with us, crosses our electromagnetic field, and then is part of that soul system, which is our storage system. So if something is happening 10,000 miles from here and we don't know anything about it, there is no effect in us. We don't know if that exists or not, doesn't exist, because it's not part of our sphere, of our immediate perception, right? So when something crosses that line of the electromagnetic field, it doesn't mean that we have to make physical contact with it. It could be just something that is brought to our awareness, even like something that we hear, or anything that we encounter through any of our senses or perception. Even it could be something that we learn from a soul level, that is a subconscious thought that somebody's thinking something and we connect to it because we're able to do that. We're antennas and we're in the same space, or we are connected somehow by the same frequency, and then we absorb that thought. And then everything that comes in is stored there in the soul system. That's the storage. We carry all these things in the soul. And that's why when I am talking about healing the soul, I am referring to releasing the electromagnetic charge of all these things that we accumulated from the soul, and that way there is no effect. Once we release the electromagnetic charge of each one of these elements, they free up, they open up, and the elements can spread, the elements can be released, right? So the process of healing the soul has to do with releasing the electromagnetic charge of each one of the layers of the soul, where we store all kinds of information, whether if it's emotions, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, or anything. So when we apply this healing method, the soul restructuring, we go layer by layer and we heal the actual process of thinking, the process of having an emotion, the process of interacting with a memory or any belief or anything. So the actual process of it is what we're healing. So we're not going to go one by one. We could be in our entire lives healing one emotion. So we're not going to do that. We're going to be working with the actual process, healing the soul layer rather than healing individual emotions. That is more effective, and you can be done with 1 or 2 times of practicing that visualization of releasing the electromagnetic charge of each one of the layers of the soul, rather than going back to a particular time in life and recreating an emotion and changing that feeling, because you can be there, forever. There are so many things that we have stored, and things that we have stored genetically that we don't even know that are there. So we're going to try to work with the soul in that level. But when we work with the physical body, it's a little bit different. Although we are mirror images, our soul is a mirror image of our body, and vice versa, and so is consciousness and all of other different aspects. When we work with the physical body, we also absorb anything that comes in contact with the physical body, and the main source of that is our food. Also things that we put on our skin, like lotions, and things that we put on our hair, or things that we cover our nails with, or anything that we put in contact, our body is in contact with, then that is part of our composition. A perfectly balanced person is the original idea of a human being, perfectly the way it is. Unfortunately, throughout history, we have been modifying our original idea of what the physical body should be to fit some kind of socially accepted figure at the time. So it has been mutating, in the 80s we were supposed to look different, and now we're supposed to look some other way. There are all these different ways of ideas or fashion that we're told that we should be to be accepted. And so we start mutating and we start doing things to our physical body to fit into that description so we can be socially accepted. And every time that we do that, we we separate from the original idea of what human is, what a human body, what a human being is. So in order to come back to our balance using the elements, we need to come back to that original idea of what a human being is. We all have different compositions according to our genetics, but there is a point in which we are all the same. Otherwise we'll be a dog, or we'll be like a cat, or we'll be something else. So what makes you human? There is a point in your composition that makes you a human being, and that's what we need to come back to. And for that we use basic elements in food that will help us reset the cellular system and bring us back here. This is what I teach in book number 2 and class level 2 that is called cellular activation, in which we reset whatever we have told ourselves to believe. We have to release those ideas of each one of the cells. Cells are projecting themselves to create the physical body. So the physical body is a projection of the idea that the cells have of themselves. So we have to reset them in order for them to project the right idea. Physical body should be like this. Physical body has certain standards of health. There are foods that are not really foods that we're used to eat because it's normal now, but that doesn't mean that it's the right thing for the physical body. So we have become used to do things like, for example, eating meat. Humans are not meant to eat meat. If you see, we come from the primates. Do you see any monkey or any gorilla or any of the primates eating meat? No, they only eat plants. We're meant to eat plants. We don't have canines like cats have, like dogs have, to go eat a piece of meat out of somebody. You don't do that, right? So we just adopted this because we have seen it, so socially has been changing what the human body is supposed to be, and that's why there are so many diseases, and that's why we are so imbalanced. But once we come back to the center of what human is, being human is, then we can reset that, and from there we can add elements of different kinds. If we want to promote certain activity, we want to be more active right now, I want to be more calm, I want to be more creative, I want to be more grounded or more efficient at what I'm doing. So once we come back to that point of reset, then we can work on that. But for that, you're going to have to do like a scan of all the things that you have adopted, that you think that are true, that could be taking you away from the original idea of what a human being is. What are you doing? What products are you using? What foods are you eating? What socially accepted behaviors are you using now? Like, for example, drinking alcohol. We know that it's not good for our body, but we do it, right? So for this first part, let's start with that. Let's do a scan of all the things that we think that are good for us, or we simply do them without thinking. And for the next video, we're going to go over, and I'll share with you a list of the things that I have gave up on, and things that I replaced them with, and then we'll go from there and working on using the elements to heal our physical body. Very good. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.